to announce the hottest passport according to the Global Passport Index. If you go up there,
Okay,
let's see.
in one sense, here it is. It's the United States.
Oh, right.
Yeah, on one hand, it's if you think about it, it's actually probably the most desirable password in the world. But it's not ranking on neither of the top three on any ranking.
Any passport ranking out there, yes.
But at the end, the combination and the weight, the US actually got. It ranks higher because it has a higher score at the end of the calculation. Roberto can also talk about this.
I would definitely ask Roberto because I see, so United States is ranking at the top, but it's 10th in Enhanced Mobility Index, 4th in Investment Index, and 23rd in Quality of Life. So I'd like to understand the parameters and why the United States is still the most desirable passport in the world, but still ranking 23rd in Quality of Life. So it would be good to understand how you calculate these findings. And I think the best person to talk about it is... So, Roberta, I was going to introduce yourself, but I think it's better if you do so because, do you want to start with Enhanced Mobility Index, perhaps?
Just thinking about the sources, we looked at many sources, and we even discarded sources that we like a lot, that we work, that we trust, because it was already covered by another source. One instance is, I can mention the Global Innovation Index, which is a source that we like and respect, but we already have the dimensions that the Global Innovation Index would be covering into our index. So this is not only trusting reliable sources, but choosing sources that would bring different perspectives into our passport, our indices, because, for instance, we incorporated here the Freedom in the World Index, also the Happiness Index, and also one that I think it's, and I will go where it is in there, is the Migrant Acceptance Index, which I think is particularly interesting to what we're achieving to do and what was the demand. So starting with the enhanced mobility.
The enhanced mobility index, yeah.
Yes. Starting with the enhanced mobility, the idea was to go beyond simply counting the destinations. So what we came up was kind of a point system where a passport would get a point if it facilitated access to countries, but those points were relative to which kind of country they're facilitating access to. So to do that, we use our own quality of living index for doing that. So if my passport, let's say, gives me free visa access, so just can enter the country with my passport, to a country that has a very high quality of living, I get 1 full point, let's say, for that passport, for the passport that I own. But if I get visa-free access to a country that, say, we have countries that are now engaged in civil war, that has other sorts of problems. So it has a poor quality of living evaluation according to our own ranking. So visa-free access to a country that is in this kinds of situations gets only 1/3 of a point. So the same access will earn my passport less points if it gives me access to a country that is in a dire situation right now. And then we have in between scales at that. And the same thing is, we do not discard all the facilities that my passport would allow me. We're talking before about the beautiful stamps. Sometimes not having the beautiful stamp is a good thing because we have
Of course,
electronic, we have electronic visa, electronic travel authorizations, which might not be as showy as a nice stamp on a passport, but you don't have to send your passport, you don't have to wait a lot, you don't have to pay sometimes as much. So we also value and we give points to access to countries through electronic travel authorization and electronic visa. So in the end, we have this table, this 12 category tables that matches the facility of access with the quality of living. So, and my passport collects points from each country it gives access to, facilitated access to. So in the end, we add all this up together, every country to every country, and then we came up with the enhanced mobility index.
Mobility index. Roberta, I will have to say that again because it's fascinating. It's very different from all the passport rankings that are out there. And it shows that a passport is beyond a tool to travel. It's beyond being this simple book to travel. And it makes it relevant in the context of citizenship by investment. And so I think the work that you've done here with the Enhanced Mobility Index is amazing. Now, my question is, what is the weight that the Enhanced Mobility Index carries when you calculate the Global Passport Index, the top ranking? Is it the heaviest?
Yes, the heaviest. It accounts for half. This decision is something that we discussed a lot with Global Citizen Solutions and what their clients were valuing, what they wanted, and still we were talking about a passport index. So it is a travel document. It's a travel-related document. So we give the highest weight to the Enhanced Mobility Index. So half of the weight of our index is given to the Enhanced Mobility Index. Okay. And of course, the fact that we're showing each index separately also means that if you have a different interest or a different focus, you can always take a particular look at one of the other two indices separately.
Yeah, for sure. If you want to compare our ranking with all the existing passport index out there, it's just a matter of comparing only the enhanced mobility, and even that we have a different approach on that. So we have like a passport index, and on top of that we have like a more complete passport index on top of it.
Yeah.
One thing to mention as well is that for this enhanced mobility, we are not taking account the restrictions related to COVID right now that we have on countries. So we are just taking account the general restrictions that countries used to have. So because if there's any kind of restriction because of COVID, it's temporary. So it's only, we're not taking account on that.
Yeah. So I think no passport index is taking into account the pandemic at the moment, because otherwise, it just shifts, the information shifts too quickly. Okay, so the top of the enhanced mobility index, we have Singapore. And then on the top of the investment index, we also have Singapore. So Roberta, I'd like to understand a bit more about the investment index and the methodology behind it. I think from what I understood, the investment index gives a very good overview of a country's economy, an access that will help people that are looking to invest abroad or understand tax benefits, and so on. So are you able to tell me what parameters were used for the the investment index?
So for the investment index, we looked at three things. One is taxation, and we went for personal individual income tax rates. And if you will, this is a counterpart in terms of let's say after investment and return. So we value those that had a lower taxation. Of course, when you look at this item individually and you cross it with the quality of living index, for instance, you can see clearly that there is a return on that taxation in quality of living, obviously. So, but here, taxation and personal individual income tax rate is one of the components for investment. So we value higher the ones with lower taxation. The second way is a measure of the country's economy strength, which is given by the global national income per capita. And the third one, because we wanted vibrant, strong economies to fare well in this ranking. And the third component is selected items from the Global Competitiveness Index by the World Economic Forum. And here we felt the need not to use the Global Competitiveness Index in its whole, because inside the Global Competitiveness Index, there are components that we are already covering somewhere else. So we took the extra step of selecting from that index by the World Economic Forum the pillars that were most interesting for us as a measure of competitiveness and business environment. So from the Global Competitiveness Index, we choose components that are related to product market, labor market, financial system, market size, business dynamism, and innovation capability.
Okay. Great. You answered my next question. Amazing, because I was going to ask what pillars did you use to access the a country's business environment? All right. So then it accounts to 25% of the total score. Now I think this is clear. Now let's move on to the quality of life index.